Hello YouTube, this is Waterfall Joe and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over all of my equipment with you. We're talking cameras, lenses, tripods, filters, bags, everything that I use for my photography. It's December 2024. I did this video last year in December 2023, and it's a series I'm planning on doing every December, just going over everything that I use in my camera bag. So let's dive in. Okay, so the game plan for today's video is I want to start with my cameras. We're gonna move on to lenses, and then I'm gonna talk about accessories, filters, bags, tripods, batteries, microphones, brackets, you name it, we're gonna talk about it. And at the very end of the video, we're gonna be discussing some future additions I'd like to have in my camera bag in the future, lenses, other accessories like that. So let's go ahead and let's just start off with the cameras. This is my Nikon Z6 II. I've had this for almost 3 years now. It's been my trustworthy, take it everywhere landscape photography camera, and I absolutely love this thing. I bought this used in May of 2022. I got a great deal on it. It had less than 500 clicks when I bought it, so I almost essentially bought it brand new at that point. This is such a great full frame camera. It's 24 megapixels. I've shot so many waterfalls, so many landscapes, so many Milky Ways with it. It's really an impressive camera. My other Nikon is actually my Z30 that I use to film my videos. Now it doesn't really get much attention because it's usually the one I'm holding and filming with. But if you're looking for a great video camera or just a small travel camera, this is a great camera. Just the only downside is it doesn't have a viewfinder. So it is definitely a more video-centric camera, which is why I love it for my videos. And now the newest addition to my camera bag is my OM1 Mark II from OM System. Now, I just bought this a few months ago. I've loved every minute I've had with it so far. I won't go too much detail on it because I did just release a video on it, but this is a 20 megapixel micro four thirds. This is actually a flagship model, so this is their best camera. This is definitely a new experience for me. I've had so much fun learning more about it, and I gotta say, so far, I'm really loving this system, and I can't wait to talk more about it. So this is my newest addition, the OM1 Mark II. Okay, so now we've covered the cameras, let's talk about lenses. This is my Nikon Z 17 to 28 millimeter f2.8. This uses 67 millimeter filters. It retails for about 1,100 bucks. This lens is fully weather sealed, but it's not stabilized. But when used on a camera such as a Z6 II, you got the in-body camera stabilization. So this was my go-to for all of my waterfalls. I used it for Milky Way. It's a razor sharp lens, doesn't weigh much at all. I absolutely love this. Great alternative to say like the 14 to 24Z, the big heavy duty ones. So great wide angle for the Z mount here. This is my Tamron 35 to 150 for the Z mount. Now this lens is pretty significant. Here's the zoom, it covers a humongous range. This uses 82 millimeter filters. And this lens retails for about $2,000, although you can get them used for about $1,500 nowadays. This lens is incredibly razor sharp. I put it right on par with the Nikkor S line of lenses. The only thing to note is it is a pretty heavy lens. Now, for travel and landscape, it's hard to get a lens that covers such a great range like this. I took this to Iceland and to Monument Valley, and I never really felt like I was missing anything. Although I will say after a day of hiking with it, it was pretty heavy. It's a lot of lens. So great option for traveling, especially if you need the low light performance, especially if you're like a portrait wedding photographer who needs one lens to kind of cover everything. This lens is spectacular. And the newest addition to the family is the OM System 12 to 40 f2.8 Pro. Now this lens retails for about $1,000. It uses 62 millimeter filters, so very small and compact. And in micro four thirds, this is a 12 to 40. However, in full frame terminology, this is actually equal to a 24 to 80 f2.8. So really powerful and a very nice compact package here. So I'm very excited to use this. One of the coolest features about it is if you want to go to manual focus, you just pull this down and now it's in manual focus and now it's in autofocus. I really love the manual focus clutch. I think that's a really neat feature of these lenses. And I want to show you one more lens I just picked up for about 50 bucks. This is the Lumix 14 f2.5, and look how small this thing is. I haven't really been much of a prime lens user, but I'm so excited just to go out and shooting with this. I got a great deal on it. I had to get it. It's so cool. You know, you put this on, say, the OM1, and it's a really small setup. The 14mm in full frame terminology is equal to a 28mm. And look at the size of this thing. Full autofocus and everything too. So I'm planning on making a video on this soon, just going out and shooting, just having some fun. I bought it for 50 bucks, so I can't wait to go out and try it out. Okay, so now that we've discussed lenses, let's talk about the accessories, you know, the filters, the tripods, the bags, the microphones, the brackets, all of that stuff. So I want to show you guys my bag and my tripod first. This is the Mindshift Backlight 26 liter. Now I have been using this for almost 5 years now, and it has never given me any problems at all. To be quite honest, you know, I am pretty rugged with my stuff. I like to go out and shoot waterfalls. I go out in the woods a lot. This thing's never had any issues at all. I've had mud all over it before. It's, you know, it's been rained on. It's never had any problems. You know, I've tugged on this handle so many times and it's never given me any issues. So the Backlight 26 liter is a spectacular outdoor hiking travel bag. The tripod that I use is the MePhoto Road Trip. Now, I've also had this for about 5 years. I bought the bag and the tripod around the same time. This is the carbon fiber model. You can see that the writing is like chipping off how much I've used it. I have these little glow-in-the-dark pieces on here because I was just in Utah a few months ago teaching a workshop for Milky Way, and we didn't want anyone tripping over anyone else's tripods, so we did put glow-in-the-dark tape on our tripods. Even though I've taken this thing through hell and back, it still opens. Somehow all of the joints and all of the twisties still work. I don't know how. You know, I'm planning on keeping this for as long as I can. It's been so good to me. So you can see it's totally beat to hell though. In terms of the filters that I like to use, I actually use the Promaster HGX Prime filters. Now this is a combination of polarizers and ND filters for my travels. The HGX Primes are some of the best glass you can get for your lens. I like it because it has coatings on it to help with fingerprints and smudges and raindrops. They wipe right off. This is also a hardened glass, so it's a lot more difficult to break it as well. So these have been great. I've had them for many years. In terms of batteries, I have a mix of Promaster batteries as well as OEM batteries. So like here's my OM System BLX1 battery, but I also carry like a Promaster battery as well. One of my favorite batteries that I have is the Promaster USB-C battery. So this one actually has a USB-C port on the battery itself, and you can just plug this into any phone charger. So like when I'm going from waterfall to waterfall, I will just seriously plug this into my phone charger and charge it on the way to the next waterfall. So it's really convenient. You don't have to carry any extra chargers with you, especially now that pretty much everything is going USB-C. Really, really convenient. This is the charger that I like to use. This is the Promaster Dually charger. You can actually plug two batteries in at once. And then you would just plug it into a USB port. I like that it can charge two at once instead of just being the one that you get with the OEM. And then this is the battery holder that I use. So this is the Think Tank DSLR battery holder 4, so it can hold 4 of them. But I absolutely love it. I've had this for like 5 years. I've never had any issues with it. I actually have a system here where if my battery is facing up, that means that it's charged. And when it's dead, I actually flip it around so that the contacts are facing down. And that's how I know that the battery's dead. That's kind of my system for knowing which ones need a charge. So some other accessories that I have, I also carry L brackets on my equipment. So here's the L bracket. Now this is a Promaster Universal, so of course it can go on pretty much any camera. You adjust it for your specific camera. I actually have this on my Z and my OM1. I have two L brackets. They're the same exact one too, just different configurations. But for landscape photography, an L bracket is so incredibly helpful. In terms of the camera strap, I actually don't like to use a neck strap. I find it just kind of gets a little tedious. I'm actually a fan of the wrist strap. So this is the Peak Design cuff. And essentially you can kind of just let your camera hang from your wrist there. I find that it's a lot more freeing compared to like a traditional neck strap. And if you ever want to take it off, all you have to do is just press and release. And plus when you're done, you can even wear your Peak Design strap as a fashion accessory. How cool is that? All right, so the next item on the list is microphones. So if you watch my early videos, August of 2023, I actually didn't even use a microphone. The audio is horrible. I've learned my lesson, trust me. The first microphone I ever bought was actually the Godox. This is the Godox Move Link, and you can see how beat up this thing is. I've beat the heck out of these things. I love this microphone. My only complaint was the battery life wasn't the best. So when I was doing some extended shooting, I would actually feel like I kind of feel pressured that I need to wrap up editing or wrap up filming because I think my battery was about to die. So I ended up recently, I got the Ceramic Blink. Now this is really cool because you can actually charge it in the housing here, kind of like a set of AirPods, but you plug this in and charge the box, and then you actually take the microphones and plug it in there. So I have one on right here. This is the Ceramic Blink B2. So this has been delightful. I've loved them. I've only had them for a few months, but I mean, look at it. Looks so good, nice and compact. I've had a great time with it. So now that we've discussed all the items that I already have in my bag, I want to discuss some future gear that I would like to get one day. So I want to talk about lenses in particular because that's really what I'm eyeballing right now. So my main focus is my OM1 Mark II. This is kind of the direction I'm really focusing on right now. I'm really loving this camera. I don't know how much longer I'm going to have my Nikon equipment, to be honest. I love it, but I find that this kind of suits my needs a little bit better. So I am looking at lenses for this system more than my Nikon. There are two lenses in particular that are really drawing my attention, and I hope to get them one day. The first one is the OM System 8-25mm f4 Pro. Now, in full frame terminology, this is equal to a 16-50 f4. It uses 72mm filters and it retails for about $1,100, although I've seen them currently with some savings for about $699. So it's a really attractive deal lately. But for my landscape photography, I find that a 16-50 would cover everything that I love to do and more. It's such a spectacular lens. It's fully weather sealed. It has the pro quality glass, the build quality. That's definitely very high on my list. The other lens that I've been looking at is the OM System 40-150 f4 Pro. Now that lens retails for about $1,000, although with instant savings, it's been down at the $600-700 range as well. Now that lens in full frame terminology is an 80-300 f4. So both of these lenses are kind of a unique range that don't really exist for many other manufacturers. Now the 40-150 f4 is, in terms of telephoto, it's very compact, it's very small. It's about the same size as the 8-25, which is really impressive. Both of these lenses don't weigh much. They're fully weather sealed. They're the pro quality glass, which is the best glass that OM System has. So, and both of them in my bag won't add much weight at all. So I'm really looking forward into diving into the system and all of the lenses that are available for it. Laowa makes a 6mm f2 that is equal to a 12mm in full frame. That lens I've been intrigued by for landscapes, for astrophotography. That one retails for about $600. Also a very small lens as well. So one of those might end up in my bag one day. Now, if I really got into the low light astro nighttime shooting, I would also be looking into the OM System 7-14mm f2.8 Pro. But for my use, I find that the 8-25 will probably be a better suit for me personally. And the last lens that I've been eyeballing is the OM System 300mm f4 Pro. Now this lens, in full frame terminology, is a 600mm. I've never really been a big bird photographer, but I feel like if I had that lens, I would really get into it. I've always been intrigued by bird photography, but I never have really pulled the trigger on it before. So I'd love to maybe borrow one or rent one day and just go out and test it out. Maybe film a video for you guys too. I just want to say I'm very grateful for everyone who has subscribed to the channel, you know, leaving your thoughts below. I always appreciate you guys. We are approaching 500 subscribers, so I thank you all for that. You know, I've come so far. It's been such a humbling journey for me. Even just last year, I barely even knew anything about what I'm doing. I'm still kind of learning as I go. I've always been intrigued by YouTube and by like photography on YouTube. I've always thought it's so cool. Some of my favorite photographers have channels and they put out some amazing content. And I've always wondered, like, I want to try that someday. So here we are, I'm trying it. This has been such a great journey. I've enjoyed every moment of it. And As we approach the new year, I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. Thanks for your support. As the channel continues to grow, I'm going to be investing more in myself. I'm also going to be investing more in my equipment as well to help increase the quality of the content I put out. So thank you guys so much for watching. This is Waterfall Joe. Have a happy holidays with your family, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.